Hi people, so I made fisherman soup for the very first time, and this was also my first time tasting it. It's a pretty expensive soup to make depending on the condiments that you want to have inside it, but I'm going to take you through how I made it, my struggles, and how it eventually turned out. So let's start with the ingredients. I'm going to be using cocoyam. This is going to act as my thickener. The next thing I'm going to show you is dry fish. This has been picked. I'm also going to be using some fresh periwinkles that have been taken out of the shell, and then yellow pepper, which is very good for flavor. Some uziza seeds, good for flavor as well. This is going to be blended. Onions, because I really love onions, and I'm going to add onions at different points in this soup. Titus fish, which is my favorite fish. Some catfish, because my husband really loves catfish. I'm not a fan, but he loves catfish. Also going to be using some medium-sized snails, tiger prawns, and crabs. And of course, we're going to use some palm oil and uziza leaves. So there are two of us making this soup, okay? Myself and my husband. We've never had this before. We've never made this before. Okay, we've never made this before, but he has had it before. So we were struggling through this together. We're just putting heads together to make sure that this thing comes out delicious, because we needed to have dinner, okay? So the first thing we did was to cook our snails, just with seasoning cubes, salt, onions. Once the snails were a little bit soft, or well, soft enough, we put in our prawns and our crabs, because those don't take time to cook. I seasoned a little bit with seasoning cubes and some onions, and we're just going to cover for a bit and just let that heat up. So once it's steamed up a bit, we're going to go in with the catfish. We put the catfish in without realizing that we hadn't cut them through, so we had to do that in the pot. But anyway, so we're just going to put the catfish in. I'm going to season a little bit more, and I'm just going to stir. Catfish doesn't take time to get cooked, so, and because it's still going to enter another pot, it really didn't need to cook till it's done. So this is just going to steam for a bit, and then we're going to move on to the next step. The next thing we're going to do is, in a pot of water, we're going to bring out the stock. Now if you can remove your protein and then just pour in your stock, but because I had so much, I just drained it out. Now that's my blended yellow pepper, and I also put a little bit of red pepper. I'm just going to dump everything into the pot: my crayfish, my blended uziza seeds, which I blended with the pepper, and a little bit of Cameroon pepper, just a little bit. At this point it's already hot, and if you have children, you don't want it to be too peppery, so that they can eat it comfortably. I'm also going to put my palm oil, and then I'm going to put in my blended cocoyam. So this is my very first time using cocoyam as a thickener. I've always used achi for any soup that needs to be thickened, like oha soup, bitter leaf soup. So I've never used cocoyam before. I didn't know what to expect, but I just expected that it would come out thick. Now I left my cover open because I did watch a video where someone said it's good to leave your cover open so it thickens quickly, and that's exactly what it looked like. It was still as loose as it was, so I went in with my trusty achi, which has never failed me before. So I went in with achi, and then I put in my Titus fish to cook and to boil with this stock. So once the Titus fish was boiled, you can see that it actually thickened pretty quickly. I put a little bit of water, poured in my periwinkles, and then every other thing goes in next. So once it had cooked, I realized that my pot was too small, but I could not lift this cast iron pot, and then transfer into another pot. It just seemed stressful. So I just put in my uziza leaves, and then I tried to stir as much as I could. But you guys, this soup was so delicious, and imagine how delicious this soup was that myself and my husband actually had a moment where we thought we could do this as a business. I'm telling you guys, that's how delicious this soup came out. We really enjoyed it. Let me know if you've had this before, if you'll be trying it, and if you make yours differently. Please share with me in the comments. I'll see you in my next video.